Hey, this is Samar Newsome, and this is the Musician Shed podcast. And I got a very special guest with me today. I have Miss Jennie Harney-Fleming.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me. This is such an honor.
Oh my gosh, the honor is mine.
Oh.
So, I know your greatness. I've seen you on many stages, and just really been in awe of your talent. But tell the people who Jennie Harney is.
Well, thank you so much. I am predominantly a musical theater performer, but I also do recorded music and sing, not cabaret, but, sing as a singer, often in between my musical theater
gotta work.
gigs. Yeah. But I was in Hamilton. I'm about to go into a new show, which I can't talk about just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I did Color Purple, A Wonderful World on Broadway. But I also do like to record and sing every chance that I get. Yeah,
you do some amazing stuff. And again, I mean, I love the caliber of stuff that you worked on. It's not like she's doing some off Broadway. No, she's doing Broadway stuff. I mean, like, to me, it's like if there's a major Black show, more than likely you're going to be a part of it. Or you're going to be in there somewhere.
I do definitely have a lot of relationships with the people who put most of the Black shows that come out on Broadway together. So it does.
That's amazing.
Relationships are everything.
Absolutely. That's great. We'll talk about relationships in a second.
Yay.
So, I mean, one strong relationship, you come from a legacy, a Broadway legacy.
I do.
Tell us, I know, tell the people who your dad is.
My dad is Ben Harney.
Mm-hmm.
He
was Tony Award winning
Ben Harney. He won the Tony for Curtis Taylor Jr. in the original production of Dreamgirls.
Absolutely.
That was I don't even know how long ago it was now, 40 years ago. I can't remember. They're doing a revival, actually. It's supposed to come on Broadway in a couple of months. So
yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, super excited about that.
I won't be surprised if she gets if she ends up in the cast somewhere.
I don't know about that one, but I mean, I know it's going to be incredible because they've got some really crazy talented people in the room. And my nephew actually was a part of their audition process, nice. Ironically.
That's not ironic. Well, I guess it is ironic.
They had no idea. Nobody in the room knew the connection between him and my dad.
Wow.
So it's,
that's crazy.
You know how God works. He just...
Oh, yeah. I love your dad.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Special.
So tell me, like, how did your journey start out in musical theater? Like, did you always want to do music theater? Did you want to do like music or like as an artist or something like that? Like, what was your journey like?
For me, it took a minute for me to really land on musical theater. I think part of it was just needing to know that the choice to follow it was mine. Not just following your dad. Exactly.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, growing up, I studied dance mostly. And it wasn't until maybe junior high that I started to sing or started to realize that I enjoyed singing.
Gotcha.
In front of people. I went to LaGuardia for dance for the first year.
The fame school.
Hated it. Because there's just so much pressure, in the dance world that if you don't have thick enough skin, which I did not, you can't really. It's hard to survive in the dance world. You really got to have thick skin. So I was fortunate enough to be able to transfer to the music department because I auditioned for both and got accepted to both.
Gotcha.
So I went in my sophomore year, switched to music, and I still wasn't quite locked into what I wanted just yet.
Okay.
When I graduated from high school, first of all, in high school, my freshman year was when 9/11 happened, which kind of rocked everybody's world. And it's difficult to like figure out, okay, well, what does any of this mean? What is any of this for? Which I feel kind of resonates with the experience of a lot of these kids that were in high school or going off to college during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? What a crazy experience to have where the whole world gets flipped on its head and nobody can really tell you what the future looks like. How do you have confidence in the future for yourself? So I kind of fell into that psyche for a while, trying to make heads and tails of things as a kid. And so when it was time to graduate, I had no idea what I wanted to do. But I worked with my father in his community theater company, and alongside his projects that he would do at our church. And I was his right hand. So I had a place to be. I loved teaching. I loved kids. And I was passionate about that. So I stuck around in New York, and I went to community college for a couple years until I did a production of Dreamgirls, ironically, when I was 19 with a whole bunch of my current friends. It was amazing. And I will never forget the moment of being on that stage and doing that production when I realized, oh my God, I have to do this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
It was one of those very rare moments, the little aha moments that you get.
Yeah.
And then from then I went on to a specialized school for musical theater, and then my career began after that.
Got you. So was that school kind of had a good networking thing that got you right into, I guess, opportunities?
Yeah. I mean, I think the beauty of living in New York City is that you are in the central hub for our industry.
Right.
It didn't make sense to me to leave New York to come back to New York to try to figure out, how to survive. So I stayed here, and I went to AMDA, which was right across the street from Lincoln Center, right down the block from my high school, and kind of tried to make connections and network there. And which really ended up working for me, working in my favor. There were so many resources that I had, and I didn't have to relocate back to New York to figure out what I was doing. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. And I mean, again, it's not like you knew the city was foreign to you. You went to high school in the city, and then of course your dad kind of conquered Broadway in a sense. So, so you didn't have nothing to fear in that way. So, what was like your biggest challenge coming up into that theater circle?
I think it was my dad. Honestly, not so much him as an individual, but his legacy.
Yeah.
And the expectation when you step into rooms.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me to gain confidence on my own to believe like I'm good because I'm good and not because my parents told me, because they have to tell me.
Right.
So it's that weird in between of like, oh, mom and dad, you don't know what's good, but also like you do know what's good. And so it's, it's hard to like strike that balance independent of any other attributions. So I think that has always been a hard thing for me is not feeling like my talent is connected to anything else, that it's freestanding, and that I didn't also then have to fulfill what other people think I'm supposed to be as a diva or as a certain attitude or a certain like style or approach. I had a hard time figuring out, not necessarily a hard time, but I think the thing that I love the most about theater is how rangy it can be. You can do classical, you can sing classically, you can sing gospel, you can sing pop, you can sing rock, you can sing jazz, you can sing country, the gamut, rap, all of the above. In theater, you can do all of the things and not be held into one, but it's still very much a pigeonholey kind of industry, especially for African Americans. And I think like now we're getting to a different time, but when I first started in the industry, I really didn't know where I fit in, and I tried to fit in, and I think that was the biggest mistake of trying to fit into what people expected of me. It was a hard lesson to learn.
Absolutely. I could imagine. I mean, it's funny you bring up pigeonhole and being black in the theater. We just went to see Gatsby.
Oh yeah,
because it had the late young lady,
girl, Aisha Jackson.
Oh, she was amazing.
Oh, she ain't no joke.
She was amazing.
She was
the best singer in the show. But I mean, hands down.
Hands down.
I mean, there was a couple of people like Gatsby was pretty good, but Jeremy
Jordan, I think he was back in.
He was good.
He's excellent. He's that good. Voice.
He's a good tenor.
Velvet. But
she had the stuff. She had the stuff. But that was my wife really wanted to see her, like, because she's probably not going to be in it for long. But again, that I'm sure there was some controversy probably behind that, which I'm sure there always is.
There's always some
because
nonsense.
People think like, no, that's this kind of role, and So, have you ever had to deal with any of that?
Yes and no. I think I've gotten the opportunity to witness it more than I've experienced it. My Broadway debut was Color Purple.
Okay.
And so there's every color of Black.
Yeah.
There's every range of Black. And I think what's more popular in our industry is colorism rather than,
just overt. Yeah.
Racism. There's definitely colorism, but I think that we're kind of moving along. The wheel is starting to come along, not necessarily
not, there yet.
Not to 2026 standards, not where it should be.
Right.
But it does come along. And there's a lot more stories coming out, and Black writers and directors are having more opportunities now to be able to be on that side of the table, because that's the biggest problem.
Right.
Is that there haven't been enough of us on the creative side of this table to help shape and tell our stories.
Right.
So you can't, like Memphis was a really fun musical, but it had a lot of flaws because it was a predominantly Caucasian creative team.
Right.
Telling a story of a Black woman.
Right.
In a time where race was huge.
Right.
So while I have done the show, I enjoy the show, and there are good things to be taken away from it, that has been kind of the archetype in the industry up until recently.
Right.
And there are some shows coming to Broadway next season. I can't even tell you. They're going to be so good.
We're looking forward to it.
Oh, man, it's gonna be a really good season.
Now, speaking of bringing shows, were you were part of producing The Wonderful World?
I was not in the producing team. My husband was on the creative team.
Your husband was, okay.
Yeah, he was the tap choreographer for the show.
Okay. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was.
As a matter of fact, I was happy I got to see it when your dad was there. When
you guys. So. Oh, right. I remember now.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. It was
fighting in the parking lot to get our cars, but
that
was a different thing. That parking lot is crazy.
We stopped parking over there because that parking lot
it was wild,
atrocious. But parking in
New York City it's New York,
just a pain. But we had a great time with that show. I'm very close friends with James Monroe Iglehart, and he was one of the co-directors. I was friends with Christina, who also was a co-director, and we had been with the show from my husband from its genesis in 2020, but I joined in I think 2023, I want to say. And was kind of very close knit with the creative team and the different iterations that came forward from that time. But it was quite an experience. It was my first time originating a role on Broadway, which is the top tier for me. Like, replacing is nice, being on Broadway is great. It's all wonderful, good stuff. But for me, at this stage in my career, my heart lies in originating.
Like putting the stamp on it.
I want to originate. That's really what I want to do as much as I can. No poo-poo on anything else.
Right.
But just like,
but no, that's a different experience.
It's a different experience. It's so fun to experience that magic for the first time when you're collaborating with people and we had such an incredible cast. It was a really great show. I'm really sorry that it closed, but
I enjoyed it.
Broadway is tough, man. The lifespan on Broadway is very short, and 90% of the shows that opened last season are all closed.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a tough industry. Yeah,
that's wild. I mean, like I see. It seems like we went to see Alicia Keys' show, Hell's Kitchen, last year. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's gonna be. I think it's supposed to be closing.
It's closing
soon.
very soon. Yeah.
And so it's almost like. We got to make room for the next thing. Almost.
A lot of times that is the case. Sometimes a lot of it has to do with politics and the people who own the theater and their conversations with and agreements with other places and other things. So there's a lot that goes into it. But that was quite a wonderful show. Is quite a wonderful show. I've got a lot of friends who have done it, who've passed through it, who are currently in it. And I'm just grateful that we got an opportunity to show that something like that can run, can be successful, can win Tonys, can blow the roof off, for more than a year. Sorry.
That's all right.
And really leave its mark. Like Keisha Lewis winning that Tony for that role was just so incredible and iconic.
Yeah.
and such a deserving situation. And all the talent, all of the talent that has come through those doors.
I saw one. There was someone who, I think it was not this Tony season, the last Tony season, who was talking about how there were several shows that were like led by women of color, like right on the same row, and I thought that was kind of crazy. And then of course they were all up for like Tonys.
Absolutely,
and stuff too.
yeah.
So that was amazing. I mean, listen, it's just great to see. Like, honestly, I didn't know what to expect going to see that one, but I was pleasantly surprised. Like I said, okay, we're hearing her music, but we're seeing it reimagined. And, you know, I thought it was very creative.
Yeah.
And I thought that, you know, just the fact that she did that, I thought that was major for her. So kudos to Alicia Keys.
Yeah, she did that.
That was
she
great.
Really did. And it was fun because it was right next to Hell's Kitchen and right next to the apartment complex that she was talking about. And many of us have, you know, hung out in. So it felt like you can hold on to it.
Right,
you know
right,
what
right.
I mean? Yeah,
now, I remember seeing Carrie, you know Carrie, in the Tupac musical.
Oh, yeah.
Which was crazy that they even had one.
They
again,
did.
it was crazy that you
did.
even did it. But again, there's no limits on what you could do creatively. So it's just a matter of like, will people support it? Will they, how long will it last kind of thing? But it was actually done well. And I mean, rap in and of itself is always kind of a tricky thing.
Yes.
I thought Lin-Manuel, I mean,
yeah, he's incredible.
Hamilton, that was crazy. I mean, even In the Heights was crazy.
Absolutely.
But like Hamilton, what was that like?
Man, I was with Hamilton for 7 years. I joined in 2017 as a Universal Schuyler sister. So that means that I covered all three of the sisters, which are the lead roles, and I would stay predominantly with the Broadway company and go on as needed. But I was the only person that would go to the various companies across the states if the girls were down, if somebody was out and stuff like that. So that
you made sure it was.
I kept the show
you know
going.
What?
You know
we need a good Schuyler.
So it was a crazy experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It was really incredible to have that opportunity and to work with so many incredibly talented people.
Yeah.
And with such a great team, because their team is top tier.
Yeah.
Everybody, every staff member is just every stage manager, every company manager, all of them, wardrobe, everyone was wonderful.
Yeah.
So you get spoiled. You get spoiled over it. I mean, the show was hard.
Oh yeah.
It's 3 hours long. So you're working your butt off for those whole 3 hours. But it was a revolutionary experience.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I think about it like, first of all, how did he come up with that concept in the first place? But I thought it was clever because I feel like if you're going to bring rap to Broadway, you have to bring it in a theme that is universal. And America is a universal theme, the history of America.
The history of America.
So, I mean, who's not going to want to see that?
Everybody.
If you're American.
Everybody.
So I think that was like one of the most clever things that you could do. I mean, there's some shows I see, we got to see some of the Carole King tour, but it actually, we were watching it at this theater, right? An outdoor theater, and it was about to be a thunderstorm, so we got to see the first half of it. Oh no! But it was so good, and we're just like, you know what? Like, there's stories that capture different emotions because of the way that they're put together. So, that was a great one. What was your favorite? You probably just said it, but what was your favorite show that you did? Yeah,
it was definitely Hamilton.
Hamilton, definitely.
Okay. I mean, having the opportunity to play all three of the sisters, you get to play completely different versions of yourself. I was fortunate enough to take over the role of Angelica for the last 2 years that I was there, which was incredible. And I would, love to do it again, but it's a sacrifice when you have kids. It's a different kind of sacrifice because I had both of my girls over the pandemic. And so going back to work and having that demanding of a schedule and that demanding of a job because it requires such heavy lifting in your lifestyle period.
Wow.
It's a grave sacrifice to everything else in your life. But I did love every moment of it.
But I loved it.
Loved it. I love the show. There's a show that's coming out in the fall that I got the opportunity to be a part of that I'm really excited about. I wish I could talk about it, but I can't.
You don't got to talk about it. Well, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it because it's really.
Now let me ask you this question: have you been part of like the real genesis of shows where, like, what I hear is that there's a lot of workshopping and stuff like that. So what's that process like? I've heard, but I don't really know.
There's a lot that goes into it. Lots of different iterations and versions of the thing. Some people start off with just table reads. I've been in for many table reads. Sometimes that's just a call. Somebody, you have a relationship with someone. They're like, I know who could do this role. Call this person. Right. She'll do it. Sometimes it's, and that's just so that
just so they can hear it out loud.
Basically, there's no audience. There's nobody really there. Sometimes there's a camera there.
Just to go back and listen to it again.
People just want to hear, what is this that we have?
Right.
So I've done many of those. There's been workshops where it's like, we think we have something. We're going to put these pieces, the script, these dance moves, and this music together to see what we have. Is this cohesive? Like, let's put it on its feet, but it's also just for us.
Right.
No audience.
Right.
And the camera. And that has been a really exhilarating experience. There are readings where you have 29 hours and you can read from your books, you know what I mean? And you're on a stage and you have blocking and there's an audience out there. Sometimes those people are potential investors. Sometimes it's just regular audience members. You just don't know, but it's just so that people can gauge other people's interest.
Gotcha.
There are, runs at small theaters like New World Stages and, smaller off-Broadway plays. So there's so many different steps in the journey to get shows to a full-fledged production. Typically before they go to Broadway or before they try to get to Broadway, there's some kind of out-of-town regional situation. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. And there's like specific theaters like Seattle and
absolutely
different places.
Yeah, when we did our out-of-town trial of Wonderful World, we went to New Orleans, because that's Louis Armstrong's hometown.
Oh, wow.
Which was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible. But also the culture is very different.
Yeah.
Very different there. I mean, they had QR codes on the back of their seats so people can scan it and order drinks to their chairs. I said, that is the smartest thing I have ever seen. Smart. I don't have to go
I've
to
seen
the
that
lobby.
at churches before.
QR codes on the back.
QR code on the back. You can pay us right now.
Right. They say, you ain't got no excuse. No.
You ain't got no. Hey, we with the times.
Right. So it was really incredible. It was a huge theater, but that was definitely to get people to talk. But then that was a very specific demographic. A lot of tourists, but a lot of locals. And just a very specific type of audience. Then we went to Chicago. Chicago is kind of like the next thing.
That's like the other New York.
It's like the other New York. It's like New York at half speed and a lot cleaner. You know what I mean? I love Chicago. I've been there so much.
Chicago's nice.
Oh man, I love Chicago. But that has a very different audience, a very smart audience. They're very savvy when it comes to theater. So their response, the way, their reviews, if you put them side by side with the reviews from New Orleans, it's like they're talking about two different shows.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So the people that are coming to see the show, some are more seasoned than others, different value systems. So yeah. That can be really confusing and challenging when you are planning on bringing a show to Broadway because you don't know what the takeaway is going to be anymore. Right. But the theater district in Chicago is
I hear it's a nice one.
Yeah.
Cool. So what was the most challenging role you had?
The most challenging role I've had, probably I did a show. I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I'm going to say Pearl. I did a show. I originated a role of Pearl Bailey in a production in 2012. And they reprised that role off Broadway in 2015, which is when I met my husband. And the hardest thing about that show is that it's only a 5 or 6 person cast.
Okay.
And you're spanning about 60 years.
Wow.
But you're going through these huge emotional heights of her life and career during such a tumultuous time in our history as a Black woman in entertainment, in the forefront, who was married 4 times, eventually married a white man who she lived with, and stayed with until the day she died. In a time when that was absolutely forbidden.
Right.
And it was just high emotion, peak emotion, peak emotion, peak emotion from one scene to the next, different age, different time period, different location, different stakes. So it definitely helped to sharpen my acting chops, and it helped me be more grounded and confident in my skills and my abilities. But that was probably the hardest show.
Wow.
I've done so far, yeah.
Wow. Now, how many shows do you think you've done? Or do you know exactly? I've done this many. You don't know?
I mean, on a based off of the level of contract, a production contract, my first production contract was like the top tier contract that you can do with Actors Equity, our union. The first one was my first national tour with Motown.
Okay. The musical.
I was a swing. I covered, I think, 6 parts. Then was The Color Purple.
The first one or the
second one with Cynthia Erivo and
right. I saw you in that one too.
Heather Headley, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That one had Danielle. Jennifer Hudson was in it at one point. But then I think someone else, Heather Headley was in it?
Heather Headley.
Yeah. Carrie was in that one. So I think we saw that like 5 times.
I love Carrie.
First of all, that was such a good production.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Really, really
it was so good.
It was
so
really
good. And then when I got to see you do it, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is worth it.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
It was my Broadway debut. I hold it very near and dear to my heart. But that was my second production contract. Of course, there were shows in between those 2, but they were like regional,
right?
Stuff like that. My following production contract was Hamilton, and I stayed there for 7 years. Which is
that's good.
It's amazing.
That's a good time.
You change as a person so much in that time.
Yeah, in that time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That when you come out and now it's time to reintroduce yourself to casting and get reacclimated to what it means to audition in person.
For something that's probably totally different too.
Totally different. And people, you're also like trying to stake your claim. Like, I'm not just this thing that you see me as.
Right.
I can do these things too, which is a tricky thing in the industry, because if you don't, it sucks. if I can just, divert on this topic a little bit. Yeah, this industry is so about like the versatility and being able to do so many different things and wear so many different hats and the triple threat and the this and the that. But if you don't brand yourself specifically for them, they can't see you as that specific thing.
Wow.
So even though you can go to my website and you can see me play this person, you can see me play this person, you can see me play this person, if I walk into the room and you don't get that brand from me, that one singular brand for that particular project, then I stand out to have more value as either an understudy or a cover.
Wow.
Because then I can do more jobs.
Right.
Oh, she can do all of them. So let's hire her to do all of them.
Gotcha.
And then you end up understudying this person, understudying that person, and having to have the ability to jump from this to this to this. So you end up it works against you when you're really good at multiple things, even though this industry is the industry of all of the things. So,
wow. Catch-22.
It's like Catch-22.
So what, let me ask this question. Hold on. What was your least favorite? Well, maybe you don't got to say that, because maybe that's like, maybe the producer who hears. Oh, you didn't like that one, huh?
I don't know if I have a least favorite.
You just like doing it, period.
I love to do what we do. I love the opportunity to get on stage, tell a story. My least favorite, I don't know if I have a least.
One. You just had something that was more difficult, but not necessarily a least favorite.
Maybe it would probably be being a swing, specifically in Motown, although I love that show.
Yeah.
That album If you have not listened to the Motown opening number, good God, you must listen
amazing.
to it. It's
I gotta check it out.
Oh, good. The opening number for the Motown musical is incredible. But if I wasn't a swing, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But because I covered so many parts and some of those were more dance tracks, and which gave me heart palpitations because I'm not a dancer anymore, that would probably my least favorite responsibility. But I loved the show.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Now, what? I be having these questions like, I'm gonna ask this question.
Yeah.
And then all right, so now I gotta remember my question.
Okay, take your time.
What was my question? I need the cue cards now.
Yeah.
Man.
It's okay. Take your time.
I'll get it. I'll get the question. Let me ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
What is a role that you didn't get that you always wanted? Now, that was the question I was going to ask you.
Man, I rehearse the roles that haunt me, or the auditions, specifically the auditions that haunt me. Like today, I was just like rolling over about this one audition that happened months ago.
Wow.
That I just keep replaying the scene in the room. And I'm like, something that I learned a long time ago is to trust what God blocks. And I know that it just had to be orchestrated for me not to get it, because I knew I could kill it. And for whatever reason, I got in the room and I became a moron. I don't know. I was like, what is happening to my mouth? I don't understand what's going on. This is not who I am. It was
This is not what I normally do.
Man, and when you say that, it just makes it worse. So I didn't
Right.
Man.
This never happens.
Never happens to me. But I was completely capable. It was a workshop actually with Lynn.
Okay.
Manuel Miranda. And I went in for it. And I was so excited. But it was one of those days where it's like, got to pick up the kids, got to rush to the city, in the middle of rush hour. I'm sweating. I didn't eat. I forgot to eat. I left this or I dropped that or something. It was just one of those days where you just couldn't get it together. And, and I also was so excited about this audition that I was working against myself to not get too hype. I was like, girl, just going in, just do what you could do. Do your thing, do your thing. You. And I get in the room and I sing the song, I knock it out. They're like, yeah. Get up, start to work with the director. And she starts asking me to do things a certain way. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Wait, let me look at the paper. I just sang the whole song. Why are you working against yourself? Oh, well, let me go look at let me, and then she was like, we'll do it this way. And I'm like, but wait, girl, let me do what you asked me. You don't want me to do that? Okay, so I'll do
You moved on already?
Right. She kept moving the line as I'm trying to do what she executed. I mean, I'm sure she's an incredible director. I just think that our energies went like this.
Right. You were over here, she's over here.
Yeah,
all right, hold on, let me come over there.
We were really trying to
over here now.
Yeah, and it just the magic didn't strike in the room, and I just keep replaying the whole audition in my head. I'm like, why didn't you eat, girl? Why didn't you eat?
Why did you take the pressure off a little bit?
If you had to just slow down that day. But I know I had the kids in the car and we were
doing life stuff.
You know what I mean? It was just a bad audition. And it's still every time I close my eyes at night, I think about it.
Every time I close my eyes.
I'm not even kidding you. I have to but it's just one of those hurts that you have to, it comes with the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have to trust that there was a reason why that didn't work out. There are other things that will come along. I've booked something else I was auditioning for that same week that I'm supposed to start rehearsals for next week. And so everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
During the time of the workshop, I actually was in Angola with my husband because he's creating a program at a school, an arts program at a school. So I went down with him during that time. So, I wouldn't have been able to go down with him.
Right.
And that was really, really very important, impactful work.
Yeah.
And so I try to recenter my thought to that. Anytime, regret or remorse or kicking myself comes up, I resort to what did I do in that time instead? This is what I did. I spent time with my kids. that I will never get back. I spent, time with these kids in Angola that was really meaningful for both of us. A huge reminder to me about purpose and why we do what we do. So,
absolutely.
Just trying to lean into those things.
Yeah, because otherwise you can be like, where's a bottle? No, trust me. I know. Right. And sometimes it's just God just has a way of like deciding things for us. Sometimes I'm not even sometimes all the time, but sometimes things that He knows we want or we desire, and it's like, nah, that's not the one for you, or not now, or So and listen, I wrestle with those things personally. So I when you just said that, I said, yes, there's things that I had to wrestle with in the middle of the night. But again, it's like we're so close to it sometimes that we only see it from this perspective.
It's true.
As we zoom out, we start to see a lot more of the picture that God is looking at. And I think that, His will is perfect. So absolutely. How has faith help you in this journey?
Well, ironically, this was a similar, okay.
That's right.
The original moment when trust with God blocks really stuck with me was back in 2014 when I was still on the road with Motown and everyone was auditioning for The Color Purple. I sent in my audition tape and they asked me to come in for a callback. So I'm on the road. So that means I'm spending my money
to travel,
get on a plane, to come back to New York for a callback. Or rather, I think I had a callback for Shuffle Along. That's what I had a callback for, which I flew back in for. But I was hoping to get a callback for Color Purple, and I didn't. And everybody in my cast got callbacks.
Wow.
Everybody in my cast got callbacks, But when I got a response, the response was, "You're not right for the show."
For Color Purple.
For Color Purple.
Wow. So
I'm thinking, how are these people of another hue gonna tell me I'm not right for a black show? That doesn't make any sense. So it did get me in my feelings, but it was like one of those things was like, girl, just water off a duck's back. You know what this industry is. Don't take it personal. Like your friends are in there, your friends are kicking butt. Root for them and move on.
Yeah.
And so when I came off the road and to do Pearl and got called back in for it, I was like, why are they calling me in?
Right.
Why are you calling me in? You've already told me I'm not good for this show. You don't, I'm not right for this show.
Right.
At this point, I was so fed up.
You already dissed me.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I already done disrespected.
Right.
But I had a good friend who was on the a creative team. He was the MD of the show.
Not Jason.
Jason Michael Webb.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd known him for over a decade by that point, and I was like, I'm sure he's got to be the one asking me to come in for this. So I was cool. Okay, relationships are everything.
Hey, it worked.
Relationships are everything.
Right, absolutely.
And so when I was getting called back in for these callbacks and final callbacks, I was like, I don't know why these people are calling me in for this when they know that they
already said what they said. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They said I'm not right for the show, and I was holding on to that. And eventually, obviously, I booked it. But it was one of those things similarly to our conversation about, not being the right time.
Yeah.
It wasn't the right time. I wasn't supposed to do it then. I was supposed to do it later. And as Kismet would have it, my final week there or my final months there would be spent with Jennifer Holliday, who played on Broadway with my dad.
Your dad, yeah.
40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, who can orchestrate that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, again, when I think about it, when I take time, because I have to get over it first. Because I can get upset. I can be like, listen, I don't want to talk.
Oh, yeah.
What's my favorite food to eat at this moment? Those things. And so, again, human reaction. But again, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, God knows what my heart is. He knows my intentions.
Right.
And he knows who I am. He knows me through and through more than anybody else. Everybody's going to judge what they know. And they're going to act according to what he allows them to do anyway. So I got to look at it from that lens. And when I do, it's like, you know what? You know what I want ultimately. And maybe this thing that I want to hear has nothing to do with what I want ultimately. So let me just look at it and just look forward to what else you're gonna do.
Man.
So. And he never disappoints. So.
He never disappoints. There's always a reason, and I just try to get out of my own way in enough time to where I don't miss it.
Absolutely.
Don't miss it, girl.
Absolutely. So now let me ask this question. I mean, how what was your dad's reaction when you first got your first major thing on Broadway?
Well, it's such a funny story because I tell the Color Purple story often when I'm like speaking at schools or if I go to like a graduation or whatever. Because prior to booking that, like I said, I was on the road with Motown. I came back to New York like on fire, ready to like, I don't want to be a swing anymore. You know, I'm going to originate this role off Broadway, you know, leading lady, you know, it's my time, da, 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 da. And I do the role. And after that, I had such a dry spell. I had such a dry spell. I couldn't get in the room anywhere, you know, for like a year. I was, you know, working at a temp agency. And then I would, you know, hop on a bus or, head out to Long Island to understudy somebody at a regional theater on a show that, you know, ain't nobody coming to see. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, I mean, I did it, you know.
Hey, you got to work.
I needed to work. I was able to work on a show with Jason Michael Webb and up at the Apollo Theater, which was really awesome. So I got to do awesome things in that time, but it was a really challenging season for me because my expectation was that things were gonna take off once I got back to the city, and they did the exact opposite. Wow. And I was so down and so depressed. And by the time this was it. So this is the story that I always tell the kids. I'm auditioning, I'm not getting in the room, nobody's biting, you know, and I was looking at, you know, an article about how a young lady, maybe it was an article or a social media post, or maybe a friend told me about it. I can't remember how I found out about this, but there was a young woman who was supposed to be in one of these big Black shows that was coming to Broadway. And she went through the whole process. She was in rehearsals. She built the show and the script and had a song and had all these wonderful things. And they're on Broadway in previews, which is the performance period before they lock the show and say, this is the time
how we're going to do the show.
Right. Costumes have been made.
Got you.
You know, songs have been written. You're in your final stages. And her entire role got completely cut.
Wow.
Completely cut. And this is one of the shows that I went out for. And when I found out about that, I could not fathom that kind of like
going that far in the process, and then, you know what? I don't even think this belongs in here.
Right. Like, you know what? We changed our mind about you. You can leave.
One less person.
Oh,
wow.
My God. Like, how painful must that have been for her? Like, how devastating. So I remember praying. I remember like going in, like praying really hard and just saying, Lord, bless this woman wherever she goes, whatever she does, please fill her cup. You know, keep her mind, keep her heart. I don't know what she's going through, but I can't imagine what that must feel like. The next show that I'm in final callbacks for, I'm hearing somebody wear the room out. And I'm sitting here wringing my hands. Now, mind you, I ain't booked a show in a year, you know, and I'm just worried, and I'm really trying to get in there. My husband was already slated to be a part of the show. I knew people in the team, and I'm like, God, I really hope I really just need a win, Lord. I just need a win. And I hear her wailing somebody out in the room, and then she opens the door, and it's the girl I prayed for.
You pray for her to get that role instead of you. No, I'm just
but that's
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she did get the role, and I did not. And I remember because I was just so down in the dumps about myself and my career, and did I make a mistake, and da. But I couldn't even be mad. I was like, you know what, Lord, what's for me is for me, and what's for her is for her. And not even a month later did I book Color Purple.
Wow.
So if I had booked that show, I
You wouldn't have been able. Yeah.
So that's when trust what God blocks really came into view for me. Because like, it wasn't for me, it was for her.
Right.
She needed that win.
Right.
You know, and the win that was for me was specifically for me.
Yeah.
You know, and set the tone and the bar for all of the shows and the successes that were to follow for me. So that was a huge, huge moment in testing of my faith for a extended period, a long time in that stage and period of my career. Now I'm in a completely different stage and period as a parent, as a mother of 2 young kids in an industry that is crazy. This industry is nuts, but I love it and I feel called to it. And it definitely has a ton of challenges. You still have terrible auditions. You still botch it. You still walk out the room like, what was that? I know I should have killed that. I sort of killed it and then I unraveled. And why? You know what I mean? So even over 10 years later, I can say I'm still learning and still living my faith and still experiencing similar pains. But I know that I'll be fine. I know that I'll come out on the other side with a win, and I know that God has got me covered, and there's a reason for everything. It still hurts. It still sucks.
Yeah, you feel it, absolutely.
You know.
Rejection's rejection.
Oof. And this industry is all about rejection, and you can't say it's not personal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the rejection is personal. It's like, she's too short.
Right.
She's too this. She's too that.
You had nothing to do with it.
Right. No, it has everything to do with you. She is just not, she ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
You just got to get a thick skin.
What would be the ideal, like what goals do you still have in this industry? I'm sure you have some.
I have tons. My dreams are always in the original cast category. It's always about creating new, powerful stories that reach people. And for me, selfishly, I have idolized the Tony Awards for obvious reasons, but I've never been to the Tony Awards.
Oh, wow.
I would love to go at some point, whether as a participant or just as a viewer. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Being on a cast album. We didn't get to record a cast album with our last show, which definitely was hurtful, but comes with the territory. And when you are someone that often replaces or understudies, those opportunities don't come to you really as often. Of course, the year I was fortunate enough that when we did when we were in the pandemic, I was asked to do the Macy's Day Parade as Angelica Schuyler.
Nice.
Which was thrilling, but it was a very different experience because everything was pre-recorded and everything was like COVID and testing and all these different things. So, I would love to experience the parade, the
norm version,
the normal parade. Right. You know what I mean? I didn't get a chance to do it last year because for whatever reason, it was the only year that the networks, I don't know if it was NBC or CBS or whoever, they just couldn't. They decided we're not doing shows, we're not promoting Broadway shows this year, except for these 4.
For the ones we want.
Right, exactly. It was just like, but what about us? We're here too. It didn't happen. It's fine. So crazy. Those are like bucket list things that like kind of just, you don't need them.
Right, but well, it's just like there's checks in your, like, I guess, to certain levels of excellence in your craft. I mean, like your dad, he checked the box
in his
Broadway.
20s. I'm the clock is ticking over here. You know what I'm saying? 20s left a long time ago.
And I mean, the awards, I watched the awards. It's amazing to be recognized by your peers and by your industry.
Yeah.
But there's people who are never recognized. And have amazing careers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's I think it's just about, like, now.
Right.
I would like all of them. Right. But but it's still about, just creating good product and just, to me, fulfilling everything that God put you here for.
Absolutely.
Because if you do that, that's the only prize that really matters, to be honest. but you know, if you're gonna be here, might as well let me get a couple more things on the wall, you know, a little trophy case, you know what I'm saying? So,
right, exactly.
You know, it's nothing that you should be ashamed of looking for.
Yeah,
you know?
yes.
And putting on your checklist.
Absolutely.
Lord, what about this one?
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, I'm not, you know, whatever you want to do.
You know, put mine next to Dad's.
Right.
But so what? I have a student now that he was a very silly student, but I realized that, you know, he belongs in creative space, you know, and so he's now singing. He just started doing acting, and so I told him, I was like, you know, I'm going to talk to somebody that's right up your alley. What advice would you give someone who is at that beginning stage of like they haven't even really been formally trained yet, but they have the opportunity in front of them, like knowing what you know now, even throughout your journey, what advice, I mean, from the starting to the middle to, you know.
How old is he?
He's about 17.
Just do it. Honestly, I that's not the advice, but
that's Nike.
right. That's also my husband, because my husband's name is Do It. But that's kind of my segue, because you know, my husband, who is a phenomenal tap dancer, incredible tap dancer, didn't start dancing until he was 17.
Wow.
He didn't start. My father did not study ballet or take a dance class until he went to Juilliard at 19.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people start late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unquote. Yeah. I don't, these days there's no late.
There is no late. And you never know. Like, some people, this industry is not linear.
Yeah.
It is not linear. You will be at the top of your game one year and at the bottom of the total pole in the next 3 months. You know what I'm saying? In terms of status, hierarchy, you know, whatever. And you'll be side by side with somebody who just got here yesterday and somebody who's been here for 50 years.
Yeah.
You will be shoulder to shoulder with these people at every stage of your career.
Wow.
And so it's just go for it. Learn as much as you can. Learn what you're good at, you know, strengthen your strengths and manage your weaknesses, you know, and just don't have destination syndrome. Don't feel like when I get this, I'll be happy. When I get to this point, I'll be happy. Kind of, you'll keep having that.
You'll keep having a new one. Yeah.
The line will just keep moving every time you accomplish something. If you don't learn how to really zoom out, like you said, take different perspectives to that experience. Oh man, life's gonna whoop your butt. Like, you just gotta zoom out, appreciate it for what it is, keep going, you know, and live in the present moment. I mean, and these are all hard things to do. They're all things that you continue to learn how to do. It's not like here is this magic button that teaches you how to live in the present. It's a muscle that has to be exercised. Joy is a muscle that has to be exercised.
Wow.
Discipline is a muscle that has to be exercised, but also patting yourself on the back, being proud of the work that you do, you know, and your accomplishments, however big or small. That's all part of learning to do it on a regular basis. It's hard, but that is kind of how life is, and it's exhausting, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. Now, what's your go-to preparation? You have an audition coming up. How do you prepare for it?
I hate auditioning. I mean, I think it's different for each audition, but you know, you just the challenge with auditions is if it's good and you like it, you get attached. I think that's the hardest thing about auditions, is that like you have to, if you're gonna do it and do it well, you gotta like dig in. You gotta like really submerge yourself into the work and pour yourself and your life experiences and what you know into it. But then that makes it really difficult to then just never look at that again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That was a good one. What else we got?
Right. Like, moving on. I don't have any auditions for another 4 months. Okay, that's fine. Let's just sing these songs to ourselves for the rest of our
always wonder how like movie actors do that, because that's literally what they got to do. It's like, all right, come on, we got to do this scene. All right, action, and then cut. Yeah, so anybody got a coffee?
Exactly, which is why theater is so different.
Like, what are you? Yeah.
It's a completely different experience. It's, there's nobody saying cut. There's nobody,
right.
There's no,
there's no pauses.
There's no different camera angles. You are the angles.
You make the angle, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying you work with the lighting team. You work with the marks that are on the stage and figure out where you're supposed to stand and interact with this person. You know what I mean? Theater is its own beast.
Is that like your favorite? You would never want to do anything else?
I would love to do other things.
Okay.
I would love to do other things, but it's a different medium. You know what I mean? Like theater, a lot of the emphasis is on making sure the back row gets it.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But also theatrical acting has been changing to be more film acting in a lot of ways.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, so Cynthia, now, first of all, the first time I saw her in Color Purple, I'm like, okay, this girl is about to be a superstar, because she was a star in there. Mm-hmm. What do you think about like the transition to film? Because that's basically what she's been doing in the past, few years. So I think I enjoyed her so much in theater. She's amazing regardless, but I enjoyed her more in theater, me personally, because there's nothing in between you and them in the theater.
Sure.
Whereas studios and TV and there's so many different layers in between.
Yeah, I think aside from it being not completely different, but a very different technique. You know what I mean? The bottom line is like the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
And you're always searching to find that truth and express that truth through these characters, no matter what medium it is. But I think on stage, the challenges that you're up against are completely different than the challenges that you're up against in film. One of which is that if you're on Broadway, you're doing this 8 shows a week.
Yeah,
you're doing the same words, the same blocking, same material, same costumes. 8 times every single week, twice a day on 2 days of the week. And so keeping it fresh, or just keeping your, living a lifestyle to where your voice and your body doesn't get worn out.
Yeah.
It's just halfway impossible.
I was about to ask you that. What's the real way of doing that?
There is no real way. Be 20 years old. That's the way. You know what I mean?
Just go back in time.
Right. It's just like, what? So it is really, really challenging when it comes to just the overall fatigue, and being able to keep the material fresh, which is part of why I think a lot of these film actors come and they'll do 4 months on Broadway.
Very short stints. Yeah,
very, very, very short stints. Because it's a muscle that has to be built. Plus, people have more urgency to buy tickets when they know there's a limited time.
Yeah, that's true. Which is good.
Yeah,
yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, I want to see Taraji. I want to see Cedric because they're doing Joe's Turner coming out in a couple months. Plug that in there. But yeah, it's definitely hard. TV and film is completely different because you're on a set from the crack of dawn. You're getting your makeup done. A lot of times scenes and scripts aren't being finalized or put in your hands until the day of. So you have to memorize really, really fast. Wow. But I haven't done any lengthy TV film things. I did one film and I've done a lot of background work, but the challenge that I see is, the blessing and the curse is that you have these sheets that you can take a peek at in between takes to verify that your lines are right.
Right.
But I don't think that's always the case, especially if you have like a monologue or a lengthy like scene where things break down. And, I think that's more popular on movie sets than it is on TV sets. I don't know. Don't quote me on this. I'm not experienced enough in film and television, but I do know that that aspect of it is very, very different from memorizing a script and rehearsing it for weeks at a time, and then having a previews period, and then having a run, and then having Tony voters come, and then it's just a very
Tony voters.
Oh,
voters. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So it's a different. The stakes are different, you know, and also like there's different like what it means to do this on stage is completely different from on camera. You do that on camera, people gonna think you're crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Are you trying too
Right,
hard?
exactly. You blink too much on camera.
Right.
You know, and all of a sudden, so she's a bad actor. You know what I mean? And then the whole time you're like doing your scenes like this. I will not blink. I will not blink.
Right.
It's just a completely different medium.
That's wild.
But very, very few people have had the ability to successfully transition from theater to film for a litany of reasons. But having a Tony does help, I will say.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, how long into a show before you like, okay, this show is automatic? And then conversely, before you say, oh, this show is getting boring, where you have to make it fresh?
It depends. I think for me, I was with him, like I told you, I've been in Hamilton for forever. But even down to my last day there, I had spots where I would, in my track, I would fit into my track when I was going to stop at this specific place backstage and do this set of lines. Every show. There was never a show when I didn't rehearse the line right before I went out because I don't want to get tongue-tied because it's a train.
Right.
You ain't got no time to hem and haw and figure it out. You ain't got, you know what I mean? As soon as that light hits, you and there's been a couple of, you know, moments for me in Satisfied. But, you know, it's one of those things where it really just depends on who you are, I think. I feel like I don't like to mark. I don't really think I have, not that I don't have the ability to mark, but like if I feel like I'm doing something less than what I can, I go into overdrive. Right. You know what I mean?
To compensate.
Yeah. So I think it really just depends on the actor. Some people are better at finding that balance. I just, you know, I mean, and I loved Hamilton to the very last day. There are definitely moments of like in the track where you're like, why am I up here on the surround doing these hand movements? Nobody can see me. I want to go sit in my dressing room and eat Cheetos, you know. You know, there are definitely always going to be those moments, but you know, the material just never got old to me. I always loved it. I loved it every time, every show.
Well, I mean, listen, like I said, you're an incredible performer, singer, actress, all of the things, and dancer. And, you know, so I look forward to seeing you this fall and whatever the secrets are. And anything else, I know it's going to be great. And I appreciate you coming. Yeah. Any other words of wisdom you want to share?
One of my favorite phrases is comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big one for me, is when I start to feel down. I'm like, why am I feeling down? Am I comparing my journey to somebody else? Which is so easy, especially with social media.
Oh, social media is the devil.
Oh my God, it's so
for that reason.
For that reason, and I'm always on there just scrolling.
It's like, oh, so everybody's winning, huh?
Right.
It's just not my winning season.
Right. But it's like in that season, you have to learn how to just suck it up and just root for folks. Like win. Yes, I want to see these wonderful, incredible artists win because they deserve it. And hopefully.
And some people are winning, but some people aren't. I mean, some people are showing win, which again, you got to do what you got to do, you know, whatever it takes. And you don't ever want to look like you're not winning regardless. But it doesn't mean that you're not winning. It could just mean that you're incrementally getting there, and we just don't see the final product yet. So
you are not wrong.
But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
And this is the Musician Shed podcast. I had this amazing musician, Miss Jennie Harney-Fleming. And where can they? Well, you can't tell us where you're going to see, where we can see you. But do you have like social media, something where they can catch up with you and find out where you're going to be?
Absolutely.
When you do announce it?
Yes, I would. My Instagram is probably the only social media that I keep updated with any consistency because kids. But It's Jennie Harney-Fleming, at Jennie Harney-Fleming. So JennieHarneyFleming on Instagram. And that's pretty much the easiest way to keep up with me.
And go follow her. And then we'll all know what she's doing in the fall, and we can all go support her. But thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. To stay up to date between episodes, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, or if there's something specific you want us to dive into next, leave us a comment. Catch you in the next episode.